Hi, I'm Tony. This is SV Tapatya and we're building this cruising sailboat. And this is basically the video log of the build. Trying to show what it's like to undertake a significant project such as this, basically speaking, on your own. So we're recording the whole process of the build. And this week I want to go straight into the work and have a look at, try and show a week of the build, as basically we ever do really, but try and show you what's gone on this week. So let's go and have a look. And as you probably know, we're working on this bimini hardtop. And one of the first things I did this week was to prepare these handrails. There are a couple of beautiful hardwood handrails which apparently came off an old BC, British Columbia river boat. They're really quite old, I think. But I love them. I've had them for quite a while in my possession and wanted to get them onto Tapatya somewhere, and yeah, the goal here is to fit them onto this bimini hardtop. So cut them to length, had to adjust the length of them and strip them, and I'm in the process of varnishing them. They're going to look good there. One of the things about a project like this is that you do bits here and there and over the place, all over the place, but of course you've got to try and keep track on what's going on, so you don't start too many jobs. But on the other hand, you need a couple going on, perhaps some glue's drying somewhere on one part of the job so you can start something else, paint's drying, whatever. And that's been very much the case this week. A bit of waiting for glue to dry, waiting for paint to dry. And so in the workshop here, been working on a couple of doors for the heads. This one you saw me make, didn't you? So I've been painting that. but also the heads needed the main door, the entrance door. So I cut that out of a piece of cross laminated timber, one of these three layer boards with D3 gluing on it, which I thought would stay stable, be ideal for a door. Cut that out and got a bit of undercoat on one side to try and seal it as soon as possible. And then while that was drying, came back in here to work on the bimini hardtop. I think last week you saw it, I got one coat of epoxy sealer primer on the underside. It was a case of cleaning that up, giving it a sand up. There were one or two bits on the routing of the beams that I wasn't entirely happy with. So I got a block plane out and chisel, shaped that up a bit and then carried on with further coats of epoxy primer sealer on that. So we've got 4 coats now of epoxy primer sealer on the underside of the bimini hardtop. A little bit cluttered at the bench here, but thought I'd say a couple of quick words about these. I've got 2 of these wooden planes, which are a bit less commonly used nowadays, but they are actually very good. And you saw me there using this one to clean up the beams on the underside of that hardtop. And this, if I just show you that up to the camera, is a rebate, a rabbit plane, and it's rather marvellous because if I just give it a whack, you'll see that the blade comes out, as is the nature of a rebate plane, the blade comes out all the way to the edges, so you can plane right into the corner of something with a plane like this. And this was very cheap. I've got this from the local, do-it-yourself supermarket, your B&Q or your Home Depot or whatever. It was Max Bar here. Got it from there, didn't cost very much. The iron is not too bad, takes a good edge. As you may remember, I've got one of these diamond sharpening stones, and on that, coupled with the sharpening and honing guide, on that you can get a very good edge on this plane. So the steel's not bad at all. And I say, it really wasn't very expensive. The tricky thing about these, well, it's not tricky. The thing but perhaps is less known is how to adjust them, because it's a very, very simple beast. You've simply got this wedge here that wedges the metal blade, the steel blade, in place into this wooden block, and it's the same with this type of plane here. Same system entirely. So you've got a couple of ways of adjusting these. The easy way, of course, is just to literally hit the blade down. Gives you a deeper cut, of course, or you can angle it by hitting it side to side. Perhaps depending on what you're doing, perhaps you don't want the blade parallel with the base, so you can angle it accordingly. If you want to make the blade deeper just a fine amount, you hit it at the front, and that you probably need to tap the wedge again afterwards, but that slides the blade down by a fine amount deeper. And if you want to bring the blade up, you hit it at the back, and then the blade comes up. They're adjusted entirely by hitting the things, which is rather wonderful. There we go. And now the blades come free. I like to keep the blade out of the way, otherwise it's sharp enough that you can cut your finger if you jab your finger into it. So there we go. That's that one. This block plane, when you look at it, same system, it actually has a metal stud in the back for hitting to raise the blade. Same system, and they're great. They cut really well, and when you've practiced a little bit with adjusting them, they adjust really finely. Great planes. That has worked very well. Hasn't it worked well? So having turned that rather plain, simple, ugly bit of CLT wood into a beautiful panelled door, it's time to come back in here and get back to the bimini hardtop. These battens that I put on last week, that are the mountings for the solar panels, I wanted to glass those over, so I just sort of rounded off the ends, cut a bit of an angle on the ends, rounded them off, glass them over, and then because I'd used a very coarse cloth on here, I wanted to fill the weave a bit more, spread a bit of putty over it, a bit of epoxy putty over it. Sanded that, of course, to get it at least reasonably flat and ready for some paint. So that's 4 coats of epoxy primer sealer on the top as well, and now it's finally ready for some gloss. There'll be 2 coats of gloss either side, and then it'll be ready to put on. Meanwhile, I'm just making a couple of adjustments to the aft of the bimini frames. It needs a couple of brackets on it, so I'm planning that so that the brackets there will integrate the aft bimini frame into the railings of the boat. So planning that, ordering some stainless for that. That will be coming soon, and we should be fitting this hard top. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Should be fitting it next week, all being well. And then we could get inside the boat and hang doors in the heads. And there it is. Put the catches on. Come out well, pleased with that. I'm just in the process of varnishing around these door shuts. So you may have seen me earlier, I put this rebate down the edge of the door. I've got a batten down here around the door shut that it shuts against. Also a little threshold down there, door scroll thing. So that shuts nicely. Same catch on the inside, so it can be shut from the inside. And that, guys, is it for this week. Thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, please. We'll be back. See you next time. Bye.